So in this video, it is going to be about the Mag 7. Right now, it is January 26th, and the overnight market is not necessarily crashing, but you can see Nvidia here is down 5%, so that's pretty big in my opinion. Microsoft here down nearly 2%, Apple down 1.5%, Amazon down about 2% here, and this is just the overnight market, so I'm expecting the first 2 days to be quite volatile going into this week. So going into the 27th and the 28th of January, expect a lot of volatility. Tesla here is down almost 3%, Google down 2%. So let's go ahead and go over each of these stocks and where I think would be a really good entry in terms of long-term or adding shares, possibly even calls. So let's start off with Nvidia here, moving into the daily chart. So here is Nvidia, currently at 135, down 5%. This dip could go all the way down to about 133, so just a heads up there. If there is a break below 133, what I would keep an eye out for is the 200 EMA being tested on the daily chart. That's at 120. So this is unbiased, just sharing this as a technical analysis where support might be tested at. Right? Not trying to scare anyone, just saying that there is a potential dip towards 120 for Nvidia if we do break down below 133. So 133 is going to be the closest support level at the 100 EMA. I wouldn't mind adding a small position right now at 135. However, I would keep some funds on the side, some cash on the side, just in case Nvidia does dip down to 133, down to 120. Long term, anyhow, I do think 153 gets retested. So going into Microsoft, this one down nearly 2% at 436. If we're looking at support here, we could really see Microsoft dip all the way down to 430 to 417. All right, between those two price ranges, wouldn't mind adding a small entry. If Microsoft does dip down below 407 or even below 417, I would probably add a bigger position into Microsoft. Apple here, I actually wouldn't mind adding a position right now, even though we could see a potential dip down to 202. I think while we're near 200 EMA for Apple, this is a great entry. So currently at 219.77. Wouldn't mind adding Apple here, even though I know that this could drop all the way down to 202. I'll add more then if it does go down to 202. Long term, I do think we'll eventually see a retest of 260, just not anytime soon in my opinion. Going into Meta here. Meta here recently made a new all-time high at 652. We're seeing a bit of a pullback now towards possibly the 50 EMA here is going to be tested next, which is close to 600. I don't think Meta breaks below 600 this week, but I think we might get close to 600 if there's a pullback. So 600 here could be a potential add-on zone. If you're looking to add shares, maybe calls. Amazon here, if there's a huge pullback for Amazon, I would keep an eye out for 218. 218 is where I would look to start entering into Amazon. If we get down to 208, I'll look to add in a bigger position. Let's go ahead and move on to Tesla now. And again, with all these Mag 7 stocks, I'm eventually looking for the high of all time to be retested anyways. I'll go over the price targets at the end for each Mag 7 again. Tesla here, I didn't want to enter into Tesla. These past few days, been saying I'm waiting for a drop below 400, and now that we are below 400, watch out for a test towards the 50 EMA. That is close to $383 on the daily chart. That's where I'll look to start adding a position. If 383 breaks down below, really one of the major drops is all the way down to 337. That's where the 100 EMA is on the daily chart. I think, in my opinion, 337 should be tested minimum. So watch for a pullback for Tesla. Nonetheless, I do think we get that retest of all-time high in the future. Last one here is Google. Google here down 2% now at 196. Looking for a pullback towards the 50 EMA, which is at 186. If 186 gets tested, I'll look to add in more into Google. Even while it's below 200, wouldn't mind adding a small position. But close to 186, I'll add a really big position. If it ever tests 180, I'll look to add a bigger position there as well. So again, going back to NVIDIA, price target, I expect to see 160 to 180 within this year. Microsoft, looking for that test of 466 into 500 within this year. Apple, I don't think anytime soon we'll get that retest of 260, but towards the end of the year, I do think 260 will get retested. And then Meta here, we're already testing highs of all time as of recent. I've got price target all the way up to 800. I'm not sure if we'll hit 800 by the end of this year, but I think we might get halfway at least. So minimum of 700, maybe 725 price target end of year for Meta. Going into Amazon here. Amazon here, I'm more bullish on. I do think we get that test towards 250 and possibly even 300 by the end of this year. Tesla probably see a lot of volatility, right? We can see big dips and then big spikes. This one, a couple months ago, called Tesla out at about 180. It was one of our first videos on Bullish Raid. We were looking for a price target of 300, and we definitely exceeded that all the way up to 488 here. Now just looking for that pullback to 337. I don't think we'll test 290. I think 337 makes more sense in my opinion for a pullback, and then we'll retest the high of all time within this year as well. So 488 I think will get retested. Tesla moves a lot, pretty volatile in my opinion. And then Google here. Price target for Google, looking for 220 to be tested within the first half of this year. By the end of this year, I do think 250 will be tested. Tesla, I didn't really quite say the price target yet, so all I said was high of all time getting tested. Tesla, I think we actually start to see 600 get tested within this year. So there you have all my price targets for the Mag 7, NVIDIA, Microsoft, Apple, Meta, Amazon, Tesla, and Google. Feel free to join our Discord down below in the description. We have over 32,000 people there. It's free to join. And last but not least, if you are looking for our live entries and exits on options and shares as well, check out our Patreon link down below. It is 90% off, right? Thanks for watching.